Okay, Minus Riders, let's have a look. We've got a BMW F650 GS twin spark. It says 2 spark, so let's call it a 2 spark. Bought it sight unseen from an auction. I think I paid a bit too much for it, but when you commit to a bid, you have to follow through with it. I'm not tempted to just turn the key on this bike, only because it's stolen and recovered. It is what it is, guys. And if we can get this engine to start and idle the way it should, then we can start looking at the other bits. I'm going to start stripping down on this bike and seeing if we can get it started in this episode. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe. Let's see if we can get this bike started. Okay, Minus Riders. Beep up, beep up. Anyway, that's our ignition. That's the back end of our ignition. Obviously, you know what happened, yeah. But another problem I have is that there are loose wires by the headlight unit. Let's see if I can get you in there. No, I don't know. Anyway, they've cut this wire. Sorry. All I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to put a fully charged battery onto this bike and just go ahead and turn a key. I don't think it's the right thing to do when you got electrics like this. And this is an electric ignition, so obviously it's not a carburetor or anything. It's got a fuel injection system, so I don't want any power going to ground or shorting things out and blowing extra fuses and that type of thing. So I'm going to make sure all these cut wires are either put back where they belong or insulated for now. Maybe crank this engine over, possibly put it into second gear and spin that back wheel and see what we get in terms of, you know, compression and all of that. Yeah, so I'm going to start with stripping down this headlight, getting behind there, having a look at what wires have been stripped, try somehow reconnect that ignition switch, whether it's temporary or permanent for now. I just need to know, does the starter motor work? Does the motor turn? And can we possibly get it to idle? That's my main objective before I go any further with this bike. Like I said, I think I possibly paid too much for it. But that'll all depend on whether this motor starts. So that's it. I'm going to get stuck in. I'm going to put you guys down here. Anyway, let me try to turn this ignition. Okay. At least the ignition turns. That's a good sign. They didn't botch that. Normally they shove a tool of some sort in there and they break it. But that seems to be working and turning. So that's a good sign. I'm going to get stripping on the headlights. And I'll bring you guys back into it once all this caboodle is out of the way. Okay guys, so headlight is off. I really only had to take one bolt, the rest was already out. This is the wire you guys couldn't see earlier. There we go. That's just for the high beam, low beam connector. My lovely wife is over there, she's joined us. And all we're basically doing right now is looking for all these little loose wires. We just want to isolate them. You see, like this needs an indicator. Carla found a severed wire here. Not too sure where that goes or what it does for now anyway. So I'm going to solder a piece in there with a little bit of heat shrink. See, the clip on this fuel sender unit also doesn't look great. This broken. There's like a soldered wire there. We just got to check the integrity of that possibly. Yeah, a little bit of electrical things happening here. And then we're gonna isolate these guys. And I think once everything's isolated, we're gonna try, I don't know, do we change the spark plugs first, Carla, and then try start it?
Well, let's take a look at the spark plugs, see what they look like, and then try.
Alright, so before we try start it, guys, to give ourselves a better chance of getting this right for you, yeah, so we're gonna drain the fuel, tie up all these wires. Like I said, the battery is on charge. Put a little bit of fuel in her, change her spark plugs and see what we get. Cool, I'll bring you guys back in once all these little wiring issues are sorted out. Shouldn't take too long. Let's Fishing with Carla around. As update, Carla managed to button up those wires. I managed to get that white wire reconnected that's inside there. We're now going to remove our spark plugs, and for that we need to, obviously, if your bike was complete, you would remove your covers, you would remove your airbox, battery. I think there is a special tool for that, but we can get in from the top as long as we remove this cover, from what I understand. So 2 size 10s, Carla. And then there seems to be like some sort of a retaining clip on the ignition coil packs. We'll get that off. There's a little Allen key in there. And from there, try see if we can get those ignition coil packs off and the spark plugs out. So bit of carbon, but actually burning pretty clean. So our spark plug looks like. Compared to the new one anyway, just make sure oh wow, these aren't even tight. Okay, it sounds like we've got a fuel pump priming. We primed it twice. I'm assuming this is an air temperature sensor, so anyway, ignition on. I'm going to prime it one more time for fuel. Make sure we're filling up this fuel filter. I don't know, guys. Let's try, crank it. Okay, we just found out starter motor works and the engine cranks over.
There's petrol.
That's it. I'm going to put a torch down the throttle body and just see. Inject firing fuel into the system, possibly. Okay, so I'm just going to try and see if we can see an injector shooting fuel in the system.
Oh, what you saw?
I inject the edge out there. Just watch, you can get a backfire.
Yeah, you got fuel firing.
Yeah, we got fuel firing, guys. So the other thing we need is spark. You know, we've got fuel coming through. Just mix the fuel up in here. Alright guys, we think we've got a low battery or a bad battery or something happening here. Definitely electrical, that's for sure. We're going to try hook an extra booster pack on that and see if that changes anything. Did you get it right?
Sure. It's in my face, yeah. Petrol.
This sounds good, yeah? Something happening here. Oh, this is. Okay.
Hey!
We got a crank, guys.
That's not on.
Off easy start.
Yeah.
Which is ethanol, which means we've got spark.
Yeah.
Okay guys, update. We managed to start the BMW. The timing seems good. Ignition timing seems good. We're getting spark. We can start it with the ethanol or the quick start. You know, this guy here. Okay. Easy start. What's happening is our crankcase, this hose here that goes in, that would normally go into your airbox that sits up here. This guy is your crankcase. Breather hose goes right to the crankshaft, and that could have a little bit of air and a little bit of vapors of oil possibly. But look at this spark. As soon as we rev it up for a couple of seconds, the pressure that comes out of here is phenomenal, and it's like a tap, you know, it's got pressure. I can hold my thumb and there's proper pressure there. So I've got a theory, and that theory is simple. I think every time we're cranking the bike, it's struggling to start on petrol, okay? Ethanol's a little bit more flammable, so it starts the bike easier, but I've got to hold the revs up for it to do anything. I think I've got to keep it above 4,000 revs for it to stay running. And I think that's a force run, but as soon as that happens, I'm getting so much oil shooting out of this crankcase breather hose that I think on compression stroke, we're getting a lot of air and fuel, possibly fuel, going down into our crankcase. The piston goes back down and it's compressing that air and extra fuel and everything, and we're actually building up a positive pressure in the crankcase, and that's pushing our oil all the way out here. Now in theory, I think that makes sense, and it could be that the bike sat for so long that the oil seal ring on the piston is gone. So basically piston rings. Carla said she checked in the oil filler cap, that's over here on the BMW. A lot of air bubbles happening in there, even on the dipstick. Maybe it's still there. Let me show you. Maybe it's still there, but even when you pull out a dipstick, you see all those fine bubbles. Oh, will it zoom in? I don't know, it's not focusing, guys. But there's fine little air bubbles. Yeah, fine little air bubbles building up. There's a good one. It's all like a bubble bath in there. So I'm assuming our piston rings need doing, and you know, while we're in there, that's obviously going to be a head gasket. Oh, how does it I don't know. If you guys have had this before on your GS, let me know. What I do with it, guys, do we bring this bike back alive and buy a piston ring kit and tear a motor down, or do we, well, I don't know, do we part it out for spares? I don't know. I mean, there's not much to part out besides the front end, a frame, a V5, and the rear sub frame and that. Anyway, let me know what you think. That's where I'm at. Bit of a dilemma. Obviously, we're going to try troubleshoot it. We're not going to spend too much time on it. There's one or two quick checks we could possibly do, and that's drain the oil, see where that's at. How does the engine look anyway? Okay. I don't know. Is it worth it? That's the question, yeah. You know, if I had a £15,000 motorcycle that needed piston rings, I would consider doing it. That's not this. That is not this. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you liked it. There's going to be a lot of like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think should happen to this F650 GS. I think I'm pretty much know where I'm at with it in my mind anyway. I'll have to just see what a good second-hand motor costs possibly. But other than that, guys, that's it for this episode. We introduced the bike. We've now got choices to make, and what do we do? Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think we should do with this bike. Let me know what you think. I was so excited to drive it, excited to build it up, but sometimes you've got to know in these projects where to call it quits, because you could be 5 weeks into a project and you still have problems. I don't know. Let me know. Like, share, subscribe, Menace Rides, and we'll see you next time.